I don't like focusing on, you know, the negative stuff, but we do still have some cleanup happening on the planet. But every which way I tuned into, because, you know, the past couple months, 2 or 3 months, has been pretty wonky. And so I just wanted to double check, like, are we still on this, you know, the right timeline or whatever. And I just saw light. Light, 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 light. So I believe so. You know, we've got certain things that are coming to the surface, like the dark occult, that are coming to the surface. This is all part of the exposure process. The first key is awareness, and then you can fix the problem. Most of the population doesn't know that any of this is happening. So we got to we're going to step 1 and getting the rest, more of the population involved, and that's really the first step. And awareness is such a big step, because then after you become aware of something, you automatically begin to shift it just from being aware of it. It's pretty incredible. Even with like healing, or if you notice, become consciously aware of some old programs that have been running. Once you become aware of it, you're like, oh, and then you just automatically shift your energy. So that's a big part of what's happening. I was also told, I don't remember when I was first told this, at some point in the last like 6 months or a year, maybe it's been a year, they kept saying, be the eye in the storm. Be the calm in the storm, because stuff's about to hit the fan. And, you know, no matter what's going on around you, just be that calm and centered and observe. Because I feel a lot of this is like a play. It's like playing out. And a lot of it's for the collective, but we're still learning lessons too. A lot of this is about discernment. A lot of this is about not giving our power away to outside people, to outside forces. Remembering our power, remembering our history, and then also using our voice. Demanding for change, demanding for accountability, and demanding for truth. Because then you have this like this free will aspect, which some beings and entities, they don't care about your free will. You know, they find sneaky ways to manipulate that. But then you have a lot of people, just like depicted in the Matrix documentaries. You've got the people, the ciphers, who just want to take the blue pill and go back to sleep. Or they don't want to wake up. But now it's everything's becoming so amplified, it's causing people who didn't care before to care. So that's essentially the process that we're in. In the last year they said that polarity would be increasing. It would look like it's increasing as the frequencies are rising. So I think this is just really all a part of the process, and it's kind of like ripping the Band-Aid off. There's also, I mean, there's so many layers, because there's a lot of karmic energy that's being resolved right now as well. But yeah, I think this is all part of the process, and more people are being contacted and opening their minds. The awareness is really the first step, the first key. Awesome. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Millie, for being
Oh,
here.
is it?
Go ahead. Thank you. You mentioned in your wonderful talk earlier today that you went through a process when you were first contacted of learning to communicate with them by telepathy, and also remembering your past lives. I was just curious if you'd say a little bit more. Did you have to study or learn specific skills or techniques to have that communication, or did it just naturally unfold, or what?
Yeah, so they kind of took me down a path, because again, I didn't know about telepathy, I didn't know about aliens, I didn't know about star seeds. So at first they would show up in their ships, I would get these knowings, I started getting some words and like downloads. But they also would appear in the clouds, and I've had a couple people come up to me showing me cloud ships. So they would literally use the clouds to communicate with me, and I talk about it in my book. It would almost be like the bat signal, like the Batman signal. They would like flash like either like a heart, and then I would just feel the love that went with it. It was a whole energy exchange when I saw these signs. Or I would see a lion, and it's the Lyrans. Or I would see, they started showing me DNA. These twisty clouds. And that's how they started teaching me about DNA. They're like, no, look into the DNA. And at the same time, the jab was coming out, and that alters your DNA. So they were telling me, pay attention to that. Because your DNA is very, very special. So they would communicate through the clouds and other signs like that. And then as I developed more, they instructed me to begin meditating. And when I started working on the energy centers, which is the galactivation I'm going to guide you guys through, we're going to work through the energy centers. We're going to work with some of the DNA. And I'm going to guide you guys through. I think we'll meet a higher aspect of you, a galactic aspect of you, and just see what comes through for you guys. But they had me start working through the energy centers, and that really opened things up. Like, really, it is all about the energy centers. And I was just reading the raw material. I had never read it before, but I was just reading some of that recently. And even Ra, which is this Venusian, this collective, this is channeled material from the 80s. They're asking this being about healing and upgrades and things like that. And he says it all revolves around what you call the chakra centers. So there's another confirmation for that. But all the energy is stored in there. Past life trauma is stored in there. False programs are stored in there that we're all clearing that out, and that opens ourselves up to being unlocking our gifts and abilities and being more of who we truly are and starting to remember. So they had me work, and they had me start at the bottom and work my way up. Because you can have, if your third eye's wide open but you're not grounded, you can have messed up stuff happen to you. You can get ungrounded very quickly. You can be susceptible to psychic attacks if you're not grounded. So I learned that the hard way also, because my third eye got activated very, very quickly. So that's really important. And with the past life stuff, I write about this in the book, but I had, I think I wrote about 2 past life regressions. They were spontaneous past life regressions that I had, where I would feel like suddenly I'd feel their presence. I'm not alone anymore. And then suddenly I would have all of these visions and downloads, and I would kind of like relive it for a moment. And I had felt all of these emotions. The 2 past life regressions were, and I was minding my own business. Like one time I was on a walk, that's where one of them came in. And the other one came in while I was doing my makeup on Christmas Eve, just randomly. One of them was the Lyran Wars, and I saw the explosions happening. I saw the Draco Reptilian come in and attacking the planet. I felt all of that emotion again. And I knew that that's where, suddenly, I knew that that's where my trust issues had come from. Because, just even far back from that lifetime. Because we trusted, we thought we made a deal, there was going to be this exchange, and then we were attacked and we lost our homes. That can also be a homesickness, a betrayal program. So that was something very deep that they showed me and guided me to heal and clear. And then the other one was the witch wound, which a lot of light workers have and starseeds have from past lifetimes on Earth, where you were maybe burned at the stake or executed for speaking your truth, or for using, working with plants, talking to spirit guides, talking to angels. A lot of people were murdered, millions of people were murdered for that. So I literally like relived it for a moment, being burned at the stake. And they said that severely cut off your throat chakra. So I was so afraid to be myself. I was so afraid to, I was having all of these experiences, but at the time, like I was so afraid to tell people for fear of rejection, being condemned, all of that, judgment. And they said, you're going to be talking on YouTube, and before you do that, you have to open and heal this from your throat chakra. So that was one of the other past lifetime things that I had. I hope that answered your question. Okay. Would you like to give the... Thank you.
Yeah, sometime in January, you had a YouTube message, our finance and specifically XRP, there are some chains holding down,
Yes.
and those chains will be broken away in April. Are you still in the same message?
So I think that has to do with a certain partnership or bill or something that will be passed. So I tuned into a bit further, like about a month ago, and what I was seeing, the energy that's coming in this month, it's kind of like a portal of energy. I think it kicked off in the very beginning of April, around Easter and all of that. And the energy coming in was helping to start dissolve some of the control matrix and some of these chains. I was seeing visual chains holding back the XRP specifically, but financial system. So I haven't been keeping up exactly on the XRP situation just recently, but I believe it's going to come in some sort of like a bill or a partnership.
Clarity Act.
Clarity Act, yeah. Katie follows it a little bit more, so she knows.
So you are still hopeful it will happen around April?
I am still hopeful, yes. Now, I'm not saying that XRP is going to pop off and explode this month. I'm just seeing some of the things holding it back starting to dissolve. But yeah, XRP is interesting. There's been a lot of movement this past year with XRP. And when I first got the message, that was 2 or 3 years ago. It was at 42 cents when I got the message. And it came to me like in a vision. I saw it going way up. And I saw just like light surrounding it. And a lot of other intuitives have seen that as well. And since that, so then I invested. Usually Star Family wouldn't give me financial advice, but they were like, no, this is important. And and this is going to help pave the way to a more quantum financial system. Now, I don't know, I'm not like an XRP expert. I just get kind of like the big milestone messages. But I do know some people who follow it very closely, who post helpful content like Cosmic Origins. Jace, I've had him on my channel a couple of times. He's fantastic, and he watches it very closely. But ever since then, there's been so many new like partnerships, and maybe Katie can explain it better because she's been watching it. But isn't there something going on with banks with XRP too, or what?
They're talking about, it looks like it's going to be replacing the SWIFT system. So the SWIFT system is when you transfer money to a bank, it goes from your bank to another bank through the SWIFT system. And so it looks like XRP has the ability to replace those rails. And so it's a quantum financial system type of event. I don't think this is going to roll out overnight. I think a lot of people in our community has had a lot of hope that we're all going to get rich over the night, and just let it go. Because the more you hold on to that, the more that the energy system around it gets clogged up. So let it go. Nobody's getting rich overnight. You know, I thought that for a long time too. But what happens is little things happen. Like there's the Swift XRP has made a lot of partnerships within the last year with different financial systems. Japan just adopted XRP. So there's little things that happen along the way, and these little things build and build and build and build a stronger and stronger bridge to allow everything to eventually change over. But it's going to take a few years probably still. But things are happening. The Clarity Act is the most recent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Katie.
Hi, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I went through somewhat of an experience a few years ago where I heard a voice, a female voice, and well, the first thing actually that I experienced was a tremendous, extremely like annoying, and I almost couldn't deal with it, ringing in both my ears. Mm-hmm. And I heard a woman's voice just tell me to welcome it. Mm-hmm. I don't remember anything after that. I woke up, and I don't know whether I welcomed it or not. I find myself doing like a lot of self-sabotage. And also, I just, every now and then, I'll be doing whatever, and all of a sudden I get the ringing in my ears. Did that happen to you? Like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just,
Yeah, actually, I would get ringing in my ears a lot. I got it a lot when I was first started being contacted. That's actually part of how I knew that they were nearby or that they would come in, is through ringing in the ears, because that's a shift in density, that's a shift in frequency. So when that happens, I knew something was shifting around me. And it used to happen a lot, even from looking at my footage. One time I was reviewing some of my footage after a contact session, and just from looking at my footage, my ears started ringing because of the frequencies in that. So that could be literally just higher frequency presence around you and higher frequencies entering into your field. Self-sabotage, those are some deep patterns that we have to dissolve. I'm seeing your solar plexus right now. So I would work on that. So it all goes back to the energy centers. My star family had me work at least a week. I have a whole chakra series actually on my YouTube channel that's free if you guys feel called to do that. I started at the root and then I worked my way up. But I worked at least a week on each one to really deep dive into that. And solar plexus is all about your willpower, your confidence, being you, authentic, your power, your force. So that's what I'm seeing for you. So I'm seeing a little bit in your root as well. So I would work on those bottom three chakras too. Like that's where the dark side really messes with you, in the bottom three chakras. And that can cause chinks in your armor if those aren't strong, which can also bring in voices that aren't yours. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Don't. You felt peaceful? Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That sounds like star family or your guides. Yeah, I would take a deeper look at your root and your solar plexus. Yep, no problem. And you can look up like affirmations. Oh, I wrote like a little chapter on this on my book, but my star family had me go through and I would do affirmations basically for each that correlated with each of the chakras. And if you read an affirmation and you have a hard time saying it, then you know that's one you got to work on. And then I made myself say it until I believed it, until I felt it, until it didn't make me cry anymore. Some of them were so hard to say because I didn't believe it. Like I am safe, I am protected, I am worthy, I am loved, I am abundant.